ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Namaste, all of you. Welcome back to our continuing study of Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha from the pages of Poojya Swamiji's, Poojya Swami Dayananda Saraswati's Geetha Home Study Course. In these sessions, we are together exploring and studying chapter 17 of Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha, titled Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yogaha. Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yogaha. A topic that discusses the three types of Shraddha from a guna point of view, meaning Satviki Shraddha, Rajasa Shraddha, and Tamasa Shraddha. We are studying this chapter under the guidance of one of the most competent acharyas that tread Bharata Bhumi, Poojya Swami Dayananda Saraswathi. We are indeed fortunate to be students of this great Guru Parampara, of this great Guru who belongs to this great Guru Parampara. We must count our blessings. Poojya Swamiji lays a lot of emphasis and places a great deal of importance to the study of chapters 16 and 17 before one embarks on the Jnana Yoga journey. Chapter 16 and 17 focus primarily on Dharma Shastra. We must remember that Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha, the teaching of Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha, is given from 5 different angles. Swami Paramarthananda mentioned this in one of his recent classes on Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha, and the 5 angles are Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti, and Sadgunaha, meaning values, meaning a keen understanding of Dharma Shastra. The do's and don'ts as laid out laid down by our sacred Vedas. For example, the Vedas say, Satyam Vada, Dharman Chara, Matrudevo Bhava, Pitrudevo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, etc. These are all decrees of our sacred Vedas. A thorough and keen understanding of Dharma Shastra sensitizes one's antahkaranam and promotes spiritual study, not only promotes spiritual study, but also catalyzes the spiritual journey, accelerates one's spiritual journey. A keen understanding of Dharma Shastra is key for success on the spiritual path. Hence, Poojya Swamiji emphasizes the need to study chapters 16 and 17 of Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha before a student embarks or enters the portals of Jnana Yoga. Chapter 16 was titled Daivasura Sampat Vibhaga Yoga, in which Lord Krishna taught extensively what Daivi Sampat means and what are the qualities that one needs to develop in ourselves, in our minds, to promote Sattva Guna. Why must one promote Sattva Guna? Because Sattva Guna promotes Jnanam. Sattvat sanjayate Jnanam. So values are a prerequisite for Jnanam. And in the 16th chapter, Krishna extensively taught us what Asuri Sampat means. The wealth of the Asuras, if they may be called so. And why did Krishna teach us about Asuri Sampats along with Daivi Sampats? Because he wants us to sensitize ourselves to those qualities that may be lurking, those propensities, those asuric propensities that may be lurking in the darkest corners of our minds. His intention is to help us be mindful of such propensities and eschew them at the earliest. Not allowing them to take root, making it more difficult for us to uproot them. Nip them in the bud. Which is why Krishna taught extensively about the asuric propensities. Similarly, here in the 17th chapter, apart from talking about the three types of Shraddha, Krishna also talks about four other important areas which we have seen in our earlier classes, earlier capsules. One is Ahara Niyama. Second is Yajna Niyama. Then he will talk about Tapas, and then about Dhanam. Ahara, Yajna, Tapaha, Dhanam. From the perspective of the three gunas, Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, and Tamo Guna. We have looked at what Satviki Ahara is, Rajasa Ahara is, and Tamasa Ahara. In the 11th shloka that we completed in the last capsule, Lord Krishna taught us what is meant by Satviki ritual. And Poojya Swamiji said, Lord Krishna has summed up the entire teaching of Karma Yoga in this one shloka. A very significant shloka. I will read that shloka once for the sake of continuity, and then we will proceed to look at what Rajasa ritual or Rajasa Yajna is. So, Satvika ritual, as taught by Lord Krishna, is brought out beautifully in this shloka. It also talks about the mindset of the one who is performing the ritual. Aphalakankshibhir yajnah vidhidrishto ya ijyate yashtavyame veti manah samadhaya sa satvikah. That ritual, which is known through the Shastra, which is performed by those who do not expect a result other than antahkarana shuddhi. By making up the mind, this ritual is just to be performed. That's all. A ritual for the sake of the ritual and nothing else. Such a ritual is termed Satvika. We looked at the Pancha Mahayajnas, the great five methods of worship. A ritual can also be equated to worship, yajna, and what an important part the Pancha Mahayajnas play in maintaining harmony in the environment that we live. Let us move on to Shloka number 12, which talks about the Rajasa ritual. Rajasa ritual. Abhisandhaya tu phalam dambharthamapi chaibayat इज्यते भरतश्रेष्ठ tam yagyam vidhi rajasam. Rajasa ritual explained. Hey Bharata Sreshtha, O the greatest among the descendants of Bharata, Arjuna, every now and then Krishna uses a superlative address to pep Arjuna up. After all, Arjuna was in an absolute state of despair, right? And before the teaching began. So Krishna wants to ensure that Arjuna's mind is now lifted up and ready to do his duty as a Kshatriya. Bharata Sreshtha, oh the greatest among the descendants of Bharata, Arjuna, Phalam Abhisandhaya, keeping a result in view, keeping a result in view. Dambhartham apicha, and also to proclaim one's own religiosity. Also to proclaim one's own religiosity. Eva alone. Yat ijyate, the ritual which is performed. Tam yagyam, that ritual. Rajasam vidhi, know that such a ritual to be rajasa, rajasika. Two, in this verse talks about Krishna is contrasting the Satvika ritual with the Rajasa ritual. He says, on the other hand, O Arjuna, may you know that ritual which is performed keeping a result in view, and also just to proclaim one's own religiosity is Rajasika. Like I said, Krishna uses a superlative address, addressing Arjuna as Bharata Sreshtha. Arjuna, the greatest among the descendants of Bharata. The word tu in this shloka distinguishes this kind of yajna from the Satvika ritual that we studied in the previous shloka. This ritual is also performed, it is performed primarily because it is enjoined by the Shastra, but the attitudes of the performer are different. The performer of the Satvika ritual has a totally different attitude and an approach when contrasted with the performer of the Rajasa ritual. The attitude with reference to result of the one who does this ritual, the Rajasa ritual, is just the opposite to that of the Satvika ritual. It is done expecting a definite result Phalam abhisandhaya, expecting a definite result. Whether it is wealth, some pleasure, or accumulation of punya to be enjoyed in either this world or in some other world. The ritual we are talking about here is performed keeping certain results in view. When it is performed with that intention, when it is performed with that intention, the ritual, understand, vidhi, is born of rajoguna, is born of rajoguna. And again, it is done for the purpose of proclaiming one's own religiosity. Dambhartham. Dambhartham. Unlike the Satvika ritual, which is done just because it is to be done, a ritual for its own sake. Yashtavyam eva iti, like we saw in the previous shloka. This is done for one's own glory. This is done to magnify the ahankara, whereas the previous Satvika yajna is done to dilute the ahankara. Big difference, big contrast. These are just the opposite of one another, the Satvika and Rajasa. A ritual done to gain recognition as a religious person is a Rajasika ritual. In the next capsule, we will look at and understand what a Tamasika ritual is. Until then, Hari Om.